CES 2020. When I'm talking big and bold, it doesn't get much bigger than this. This is the wall. Now, this is the second year we've seen it here at Samsung's booth, but this year it's bigger than ever. 292 inches. That's over 24 feet. And I would only want you to be right here with me right now to feel the amount of heat that's being generated from this. It's actually quite nice and toasty and warm, but the intensity of this image is absolutely insane. Obviously, micro LED is modular, so you can make this technically as big or as small as you want to with those different modular panels, and offering similar quality to OLED because it has the individually controllable LEDs too. You get those really deep blacks. You can see just a couple of images of those on the screen now. To my eye, hopefully it looks like that on the camera, but it's really, really deep black. And the picture just looks incredible and incredibly sharp. Okay, so that is the 292-inch wall. So much here at the Samsung booth, and it's so busy. This is technically 30 minutes before it opens to the public and the CES public, but there's already private tours on in here, and it's getting crazy. So right behind us, right here, if you take a look at this, this is the 150-inch version of the wall. Slightly smaller, as you can see, as I mentioned, micro LED is modular. So obviously you can make it the size that you need. But obviously Samsung is really big on TVs. It wouldn't be CES without TVs. So come and have a look at this one over here. Now this is the big Samsung model for the show. It is called the Q950, the QLED 8K. Now just take a look at this image. Have a look at the absolutely tiny, 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 like almost no bezel. You know, it's like, honestly, it's like, I'm trying to compare it to something. It's probably like a fingernail's width. That's absolutely incredibly thin. And all along the edge here, this is actually a speaker. And this itself is like, you know, maybe 1 centimeter or something like that. So incredibly thin. Edge to edge picture. And it also has dynamic sound. So that speaker in the edge, if you have an image on the screen, it's going from corner to corner, it's actually going to dynamically track and have the sound transfer across the speakers, which is pretty neat. So you're going to get that really full immersive sound. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff in here and I want to show you, but there's a lot of people, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of a truncated version. So obviously 8K is the huge thing for Samsung this year, as with many of the other TV companies that are here at the show. We're talking lots of demos in the corner to show you the difference between 4K and 8K and the detail that you can get. But let's be honest, there's actually not that much 8K content at the moment. In fact, very, very little. So all of these 8K TVs do AI upscaling, essentially making a 1080 or 4K picture look as good as it can be to kind of get the full advantages of 8K. But as CNET's TV guru David Katzmeyer says, he's told me several times, there's not really much point in buying 8K right now, but it's going to be like 4K was a couple of years ago. Now 4K is everywhere. So in a couple of years, you're probably going to have an 8K TV in your living room. Okay, so let's come and have a look over here. Now this is what Samsung announced in the keynote yesterday. It's called BALLIE, and it's like a tiny, have a look at this. This is a tiny little personal robot. Kind of looks a little bit like a Sphero, maybe like the BB-8 from Star Wars, except without the head on it. And it rolls around your house, provides personal assistance throughout your day. Kind of think of it like, you know, an Alexa, Google Home on wheels. Looks kind of neat. It's got a camera in it as well. Can give you reminders, give you nudges throughout the day. But it's all behind this area. We're not allowed to touch it, unfortunately. So you can only just see it rolling around and in a scripted demo. But it's kind of cute. It looks like a, you know, tennis ball melded with a Sphero and a BB-8. Okay, so over here on this screen, just quickly coming back to TVs because this is kind of neat. These panels actually move. They'll start moving in a minute. To give you an idea of when you're trying to buy a TV, you're like, do I want a 55? Do I want a 65? Do I want an 85? I don't really get a sense of that. But these actually will move. So this is now showing you a 65 and it's going to move out to a 75 to give you an idea of the actual scope of it. And then it's going to move out to an 85. That's kind of neat. I like it because it's like practical. It's not that jazzy, but it's practical. Okay, so the other thing that Samsung announced, come over here, it's called the Zero, which actually, as the sign told me, I was going to pretend I knew what I was talking about when it came to Korean, but it actually means vertical or new in Korean. I learned that That's kind of neat. So this is the TV that rotates between a horizontal and portrait, landscape versus portrait, depending on the orientation of your phone. Like, this is kind of neat. This is kind of a demo to show what it's doing with some flashy music. Feel like we're in a Berlin nightclub. Yeah, moving back and forth. You know, this is just like my Riri moment, my Lady Gaga moment, just pretending I'm performing on stage with these screens. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So apart from my favorite disco room, we actually can see the screens themselves. So they're hooked up to phones, and when you actually rotate the phone, it's going to rotate the screen. So you can see a couple of them over here. They're all, these ones are in the portrait orientation at the moment. Flip the screen. Hopefully someone will flip the screen. I don't think I'm allowed to touch it. And it's going to go into landscape. We'll see. Let's come over here. Maybe we can see it. Hi, Scott. You're live. This is Scott from Samsung. He's going to show us how this Zero actually works when you rotate.
Simply rotate your phone.
Neat. And this works with like a lot of different apps, right? So it's YouTube, Instagram, things like
any
that.
of the apps that you would use landscape and portrait, it will work with by simply rotating the phone with the Samsung Galaxy. And that's an advantage because even for widescreen, some people like to continue to surf for more videos while watching a video.
Excellent.
So Instagram, gallery, pictures, internet, whatever it is you do, landscape or portrait on the Zero.
Perfect. You can also watch CNET's coverage right there on their live stream. Thank you, Scott.
Yep.
Good to see you. Okay. So much more in the Samsung booth. Come with me, it's busy, it's crazy. Okay, what I do need to show you though, this is really cool and it's not working at the moment because like we don't time the demo right. It's only running from 10 a.m., which is in, 20 minutes or so. However, this is really cool because if you suck at cooking, you probably want someone to help you. And maybe that's not necessarily a human. So now Samsung has the cooking robots over here. Let's see if we can squeeze in and take a look at these arms. They're actually robot arms that come down from the countertop, and they actually can do things like open cupboards, they can cut things, and kind of co-cook alongside you, which is really neat. Unfortunately, they're just static at the moment, but I'm going to come back. I definitely want to see these in action. Okay, so one last thing I'm going to show you. Let's come over here because Samsung has done past year at CES 2019, they had exoskeletons. These were traditionally designed to help with rehabilitation. So say for example, if you've had a stroke or you have a condition where you cannot use a lot of your muscles properly, you strap on an exoskeleton and it can help with mobility and helping regain strength. So many people here. Okay, I'm gonna try to do the backwards shimmy. Okay, over here. So this year, the Samsung Gems is actually more about exercise, working out, and helping you gain some strength. So we have some of them strapped onto some here, and they're actually going to show you what it's like to walk around, give you some extra assistance. So as you can see, they actually have power packs that are battery operated to help with movement and to make it a lot easier to walk around. Now, it's not just for moving like that. It can also help resist against you to help build some more muscle tone. Say, maybe you want to work on your squats. You can do that with this. So it's pretty neat. At the moment, it's just walking around, but imagine this in something like a gym situation. You want to help build some gains. This maybe could help you out. This booth is huge and there's so much going on. I think I've only just scratched the surface, but there is so much more. Make sure to stay tuned to CNET for more CES 2020 coverage. Back to you at the stage.